Okay. Um, okay. I'm live. I am live. I'm late. I'm very, very late. But it is what it is. Life was lifing today. Um, I wanted to I wanted to go live so much earlier today, but things just didn't work out the way that I wanted them to. I ended up getting to the courthouse mad late, but I got there though. I was gonna make it by hook or by crook. I had classes to teach this evening. I tried to get my classes covered. Unfortunately, I was not able to, but I did make it up to the courthouse today. Okay. Let me tell you something. Today, even in the little teeny piece of time that I was up there today, it was later than I wanted to be up there. Even in the small amount of time that I was up there, I was just up there for a few hours. I got to see everybody that's normally hanging out the courthouse. It's a little, a little bittersweet because it's definitely going to be coming to an end. So all these people I've been seeing for the past, couple of months, I'm not going to really be seeing them like that. There are a lot of content creators, though, like for the most part, smaller content creators. Okay. I'm a micro creator. But a lot of smaller a lot of smaller content creators that I met that I definitely will be keeping in contact with. So I'm gonna wait for just a few more people to come in, and I'll discuss what happened today at the courthouse. Um, Listen to me. Today was really, really crazy. It was really crazy, and it's so funny because Diddy kids need to stop coming to court. They ain't gonna get no better at this point. I don't know, honey. Well, it's getting to the point where they not gonna be coming to the court anymore because it's gonna be over. So at this point, they might as well just come because they've been coming the whole time. So they might as well just come for this next few days. I think this whole thing is going to be over like very, very soon, very soon. Okay. So like I told you, I got up there a little bit late. I want to just kind of sort of discuss a little bit, just in case, people don't know what happened. Just in case people don't know exactly what happened, I'm going to discuss a little bit what happened before I got there. Okay. Now remember yesterday, tomorrow. Yeah, I think it might end tomorrow. Hello, Janice. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I think it's going to end tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then the 3rd. Okay. The judge did say that. Look, because Thursday is not supposed to be a day for court. It's supposed to be like, because remember the holiday is on Friday, so they're not supposed to have any court on Thursday for whatever reason. But the judge said, look, if it's not tomorrow, it'll be next week. Yeah. Well, let me tell you though, Candy. Let me tell you what happened. So the judge said, look, why don't we tell the jury if okay, why don't we tell the jury that if they can't, make it or whatever, if they can't figure everything out by tomorrow, then we'll do, Thursday. And or Mark Agnafilo was like, no, look, let's just do it like this. Let them deliberate. And if they don't finish by tomorrow, right? If they don't finish by tomorrow, what you could do is you can let them know at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, right? Which is tomorrow, that we can accommodate them for Thursday, even though Thursday is supposed to be no court on Thursday. So we're going to see. Okay, so you're right. It could be tomorrow or it could be Thursday. I'm hoping it's tomorrow because I wasn't able to get any coverage for my classes on Thursday. So listen to me. Anyway, I'll talk about myself after. Let me talk about the situation here and then I'll get to what happened with me. Okay. So as you know, yesterday, what happened was the jury handed the judge, you don't understand what Cartier, what happened tomorrow before noon, hopefully. Good evening, Pumpkin. So yesterday, remember the juror, right? The what do you call it? The 4-person handed the judge a note, and basically the note said, if somebody asks you for substances and you give it to them, would that be considered distribution? Okay, and then the defense and the prosecution sort of went back and forth as to how to answer answer the question. All right. So this is the definition, right? So the word distribution means actual, constructive, or attempted transfer. To distribute simply means to deliver, pass over, or to hand over something to another person, or cause it to be delivered, passed on, or handed to another. Distribution does not require a sale. All right. So he basically said he'll send the jury a note in response to the jury's question. And, he's going to say, hey, look, refer to page 37, 1 through 3 of the jury charge, right? So remember, he gave the jury instructions. They decided that day, but they will release it by 11 a.m. My only concern, since they did not turn in the 2-5 verdict to the judge, they can change their mind. Listen, I thought the same thing too. Okay. But let me just keep on going a little bit. I'm just going to go through a couple more things, and then we're going to get to the situation that happened towards the end of the day today. Okay. So Mama Combs was there in the court today. The girls were there. And it really, a quick side note, I don't know if anybody here is watching who commented on my video that had his daughters on the video, but I got not a lot, but like a few, not so nice comments, because I only referenced the twins in the video. And that wasn't intentional. What happened was I was there, and I couldn't even see what was going on. You know how you have your phone up here? I have my phone like all the way up, just videotaping. I wasn't even really paying attention. There were so many people there. You can't really get a good shot. So I just kind of took it. All of the girls look very, very similar. They're all around the same height. They all have braids and they all look similar, even though the twins are the twins. The other daughter, Chance, she resembles them too. So what happened was I quickly just took the video, and then I said, this is footage of the Combs twins coming into the thing, and people were commenting like, well, what about Chance? And then somebody said, oh, clearly you meant to exclude her. Like, what? That's a child. Like, why would I want to exclude her? I don't know those young girls. I wouldn't do something like that intentionally. You know what I mean? So that was an honest mistake. I really just was trying to just get it and hurry up and post it so I could go on and do what I was doing. I would never do anything like that. Thank you so much, Janice. Thank you. So let's just get into this really, really quickly. So the Mama Combs was there, right, in the courtroom today. And at one point he did lean over to her and whisper to her that he said, just relax, it's gonna be all right. Okay, this is according to CNN. Okay. And he added that he loved her outfit. She's wearing a green and cream zebra print outfit. Okay, this was earlier today. And she had on her trademark signature wig, honey. Okay. So the jury sent a couple of notes today. I was looking earlier on Inner City Press before I was able to finally get to the courthouse today. So the jury was asking for transcripts from 2 witnesses. Okay. And Dana Tran, who's the mother of Combs' youngest child, was in the court today. I saw her there. When I got to the courthouse later on in the day, I saw her there. Okay. Paige, you said he's going to do some time. And Mary said it's got to be hard for his mom and daughters. Listen to me. It is extremely hard. It's extremely hard. I'm not even going to lie. I felt bad today looking at everybody in there. I'm not even going to hold you. I mean, I might have my feelings about certain things, but I mean, I can't pretend like I don't feel bad for the people that are sitting there. Especially the girls. I feel so bad for them. I'm going to tell you what happened. Anyway, let me just continue with this so we can get back to the stuff for later. Okay. So look, they sent a note at 10:15 a.m. and they asked for several transcript sections. One was Cassie Ventura's testimony regarding the Intercontinental incident. Okay. Another was Cassie's testimony concerning the event at Cannes. Is it Cannes? I don't want to mispronounce it, y'all. And those that immediately followed. And they asked for some of Ventura's testimony regarding interactions, with the FOs with Daniel Phillip. And they also asked for some of Phillip's testimony regarding the Essex Hotel incident with Cassie. Okay, so these are some of the things that the hey Tasha, hey Vincent, some of the things that the jury was asking for today. Okay, so all right, so it says, as the jury continues to deliberate in the SEX trafficking and racketeering conspiracy trial of Diddy, they have already sent several notes. Today, they've requested the transcript of Daniel Phillip, the mail review manager who testified early in the trial that he was paid between $700 and $6K to have relations with Cassie on several occasions. It says the jury also requested any testimony from Ventura regarding her interactions or FOs with Phillip. Leave in the comments what you think that means. Why you think that they would be asking for that specifically? I'm curious to see what you guys are going to say. And over here on Facebook and YouTube as well. All right. During their first encounter around 2012, Phillip testified that he went to a New York City hotel expecting to perform. You guys know the thing. I'm not going to get into all of that. He recounted one incident in which he testified that he saw Combs shout at Ventura before dragging her right by her hair. And he talks about the fact that he was shocked and he was messed up and there was nothing that he could do. So again, why do you think that they were asking for this particular testimony? Okay. And then, so we'll get into, so you see that they're asking for this. They were also asking for the definition of distribution. Okay. They're asking for this. And then they let us know later on today that they came into agreement about a specific certain charges, with the exception of that first one, which is the RICO. Okay. So just keep this in mind with the things that they're asking for. Okay. Prosecutors and defense attorneys are going back and forth on disagreements about what testimony excerpts are responsive to the jury's request for Cassie Ventura's testimony about the Intercontinental incident. Okay. Now, this is at around 1 o'clock. It says the judge ordered the lawyers to send the transcript excerpts regarding the Intercontinental incident to the jury by 1 o'clock. Okay. So the judge ruled that the jury will get the transcripts for Cassie Ventura's testimony about the days before and after the incident at the Intercontinental. The jury will also receive Ventura's testimony regarding her Instagram post in response to the release of the Intercontinental surveillance video. The judge ruled over an objection from the prosecutors. Prosecutor Emily Johnson said they could send the jury the testimony excerpts that are responsive to the jury's other 3 questions. All right. So let's go. Okay. So again, the jury sent a bunch of notes. Okay. And here at CNN, they kind of like just go over the makeup of the jury. And, I'm not going to get into all of that unless you guys want me to go back and read that a little bit after or whatever. I did get to see the jury that one time that I was in the main courtroom. I did get to see the makeup of the jury and get to see everybody. There was one lady, just on a quick side note, there's one lady who's a little bit older, right? And she reminds me of someone's auntie, like that's a little bit older. And the way she was just kind of like looking at stuff, the way she was looking at the monitor, like the laptop and stuff like that, I could just imagine how she was looking and feeling when they had to look at the FOs and stuff like that. Like she didn't look like the type of person who wanted to see anything like that. Okay. But that's just a quick side note. Like she's like a real older lady. Like she got to be like in her 60s or something like that. And she looked like someone's Caribbean auntie. That's what your tanty. She looked like that to me. All right, so listen to this. It says, jurors say they've reached a verdict on some of the counts. So by this point, I was there. Okay, I haven't been following. Does he look more guilty or innocent? There was a 74-year-old. Okay, so all right. So look, listen to what I'm going to say, and then you can kind of like see if you feel like he's innocent or guilty. Okay, because I'm going to give you this up-to-date situation here. So it says a federal jury has reached a verdict in the racketeering and SCX. Got to be careful on TikTok. Look, if they restrict me and I come off and I'm like, disconnected or whatever, I'm going to go right back on. Okay. But I'm getting a lot better at not getting cut off. So, but just in case I do, I'm going to come right back on. But so far, I'm all good right now. Okay, so Sean Diddy Combs, the hip hop mogul, accused of operating criminal enterprise that coerced women into relations with other men, known as FOs. The jury sent a note saying that they have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, but are unable to reach a verdict on count number 1. Now remember, what's count number 1? That's the one everybody's talking about all the time. If you're not following me anywhere on these platforms that I'm on, TikTok, YouTube, or Facebook, please follow me. Okay. Listen, honey, we're coming to the end of this stuff. So we'll, have other things to talk about. I definitely, will be giving more content and stuff like that. But I would like you guys to follow me. Okay. He said, free R. Kelly. I would like to talk about the situation with R. Kelly too. Did you see what happened to him? Do you see what happened to him? They were saying that he was, they gave him too much medication on purpose. And people thought that they were lying. And it turns out that he actually did get sick. But that's another story for another day. We can do another live about that for sure. Okay, so let me tell you. I'm going to explain all these charges to you. Okay. So they were unable to reach a verdict on count number 1. It says Combs, 55, is charged with the 5 counts, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, and 2 counts each of SEX trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. If found guilty of the most serious charges, he could face up to life behind bars. Okay. Both the prosecution and the defense want the judge to push the jury to continue deliberating. Mark Agnifilo said the defense would like the judge to bring out the jury to instruct them to continue deliberating rather than sending them a note. Okay. So they both want the jury to. Did I go to the P. Diddy parties, Raul? Yes, I did go to the P. Diddy parties. I absolutely did. I went to all the parties. Okay. I went to all the parties, every single one of them. Okay, so Mark Agnifilo said that they want the judge to bring the jury out to instruct them to continue deliberating rather than sending them a note. And they are going to work on the wording of the instruction. Okay. Sorry about that. So the judge, I went to all the parties, honey. Okay. The jury's latest note in the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs marks a crucial juncture. So this is just a legal analyst talking. And he says, as the panel indicates, it's reached verdicts on 4 of the 5 charges, but remains split on the most serious, the racketeering conspiracy. So he says at this stage, the court has 2 options. The first option is the judge could send the jury back, which they eventually ended up doing, or instruct them not to deliver their verdicts on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are the charges that include those counts that we just talked about. Okay. So in the second option, the judge would ask the jurors to report the verdicts they have, making those decisions final before sending them back to continue deliberating. So this was just someone's commentary, and that's what ended up happening. Okay. So let me explain this to you. Count 1 is racketeering conspiracy. Count 2 is SEX trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. And this is as it pertains to Cassie, who's victim number 1. Okay. Cake, what's my conclusion based on the evidence? Let me tell you something. I'm going to keep going, but I don't even know how to call it now at this point. I feel like I feel like it could really, really go either way. I'm going to explain that later. Need to go after Jay-Z and Beyonce? Yes. No RICO charge, but he's getting 20 years. But listen, let me just keep going. And then we'll talk about this after. But listen to all of this that I'm saying, okay? So count 2 is SEX trafficking. Okay, no, I did that already. This is count 3 now. Remember, number 1 is racketeering. The count 2 is the sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and that's as it pertains to Cassie. Count 3 is transportation to engage in P, prostitution, and this pertains to Cassie and commercial sex workers. Okay. Count 4 is sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and this is as it relates to Jane. And count 5 is transportation to engage in P, prostitution, and this pertains to Jane as well, in addition to the commercial sex workers. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so this is what he was initially charged with. Okay, so the judge was on the bench. Okay, he addressed both the prosecutors and the defense attorneys' proposals on how to move forward, and the government has asked for a modified Allen charge. Now, I was speaking with someone in the courtroom, and I was thinking that they meant an Allen plea. An Allen plea is different to an Allen charge. So I feel so stupid. I can't wait to get to court tomorrow to tell the person that I was mistaken. Okay. An Allen plea and an Allen charge are two completely different things. So this is an Allen charge, that this is what they wanted to do. Okay. So let me talk about this first. So the defense said it's too early for that, and they seem to want to, have more gentle language. An Allen charge, not to be confused with an Allen plea, okay, with my stupid ass, is a set of instructions that asks jurors to re-examine their own views and opinions in order to reach a decision. Okay. All right. So this is the other thing now. All right. They say it's not surprising that the jury is unable to reach a verdict on complicated count 1, and it's very, very complicated. Okay, that for it is. Okay, so the jury indicating that they are unable to reach a verdict on count 1, which is for racketeering conspiracy, is not surprising given the complexity of the charge. So this analyst says, let me say it's not surprising, by the way, that there's a potential hang or there's some issue on the RICO conspiracy, because that's the most complicated charge, Honig told CNN. And remember, when the jury gave this note to the judge, they said that they have people on both sides that are just, there's no way they're going to change their mind. And I thought that was so interesting that this is the wording that was used, that there are people on both sides. So you know what that means, okay? And they just are not going to budge. They're just not going to change their mind, okay? So Honig, this guy Honig says, you have to show that there's an ongoing criminal organization or enterprise here, and you have to show that they agreed with Diddy to commit 2 or more underlying offenses, right? I don't want to use the CRIMES word. I think that might be triggering. I don't know. It's the most complicated charge. It's not surprising that that's the one that's given the jury the most trouble. To convict Diddy on the racketeering conspiracy count, jurors must find that he and a co-conspirator committed 2 predicate acts within 10 years, according to the verdict sheet given to the jury. These are the acts that are included in this sheet, okay? Acts involving KID napping, okay? Acts involving, setting something ablaze, okay? Acts involving bribery, acts involving witness tampering, acts involving forced labor, acts involving sex trafficking, acts involving transportation for purposes of P, prostitution, and also acts involving substance distribution, okay? So those are the predicate acts, okay? They need 12 of those jurors to unanimously, come to an agreement that at least 2 of those things happened. All 12, okay? Remember, the charges I read to you earlier, and the fact that they're undecided on this right here, on that first one, and they're all decided on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're all in agreement of those. Remember, they didn't say whether he's guilty or innocent. The only thing that the jurors have said is that they are all in agreement on 2, 3, 4, and 5, which was the charges that I talked about earlier. Okay? Keep that in mind. All right? So, all right. So let me go back. So Subramanian said the government's proposal isn't really an Allen charge, but essentially reiterates the section of the jury instructions regarding the duty to deliberate. Okay? Which is basically what he said they had to do. Okay? So I'm going to read this part to you because at this point I was there in the courtroom, but I'll read this part because I tried to write all of this, but honey, this is from CNN and I guess they're able to like type it nice and quick. So I'm going to read you the exact thing according to what the judge said, but I was there by this time. I was actually there. So it says Judge Arun Subramanian said he intends to tell the jury, I ask that you keep deliberating, and then recite some of the lines about deliberations from his instructions. And I remember these instructions because I was there when he read those instructions in general. Okay? They're stumped on the racketeering. They are. I wish I could answer everyone's comment, but I can't. I got to read this, but I really wish I could read everyone's comment. So it says, look, again, your verdict must be unanimous, okay? But you are not bound to surrender your honest convictions concerning the effect or weight of the evidence for the mere purpose of returning a verdict or solely because of the opinion of other jurors. Each of you must make your own decision about the proper outcome of this case based on your consideration of the evidence and your discussion with your fellow jurors. No juror should surrender his or her conscientious beliefs for the purpose of returning a unanimous verdict. Okay, if you're not following me here, give me a follow because I'm definitely going to be at the courthouse tomorrow. I'm not working tomorrow. I took off, okay? So I'll definitely be there tomorrow bright and early. Ugh. Anyway, it's your duty as jurors to consult with one another and to deliberate with a view to reaching an agreement. Each of you must decide the case for himself or herself, but you should only do so only after a consideration of the case with your fellow jurors, and you should not hesitate to change an opinion. You should not hesitate to change an opinion when convinced that it is erroneous. Discuss and weigh your respective opinions dispassionately, without regard to sympathy, without regard to prejudice or favor for either party, and follow my instructions on the law. Okay? So basically, he said this before. These are instructions that he gave the jury before. He's giving it to them again. Okay? So that's what happened there. All right? He then told the jurors to return to the jury room and to send a note if they wanted to end deliberations for the day, which they did. And this is another quote. He said, I received your note that you have reached verdicts on counts 2 to 5, but not on count 1. I ask at this time that you keep deliberating. Okay. So the jury left the courtroom, and the judge said that he was going to sit on the bench because they might get a note in the next few minutes, which they did. All right. And the jury sent a note that it has completed deliberations for the day and will continue tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me tell you something, honey, okay? I was there when he said that, and when I tell you I was so glad that they decided to come back, because I knew that I was already like playing with fire because I was supposed to go teach my class today at 6:00. Okay. When all this stuff came down, we're at like 5:00. So I was keeping my fingers crossed, like, please, because I was already messing around and going to be late. When the jury said that they were going to say, okay, we're going to come back tomorrow. I was so happy. I was only 3 minutes late for my class, so it wasn't that bad. Do I believe Puff will walk out of the court a free man or be fine? Listen, I would have answered this question a little differently before, but I just am not sure right now. So let me continue a little bit, and then you guys can kind of draw your own conclusion. Let me tell you, all right? So we'll go into this a little bit more, and then I'm going to tell you what he looked like and what his lawyers and them looked like, okay? This is the thing. His lawyers and he and the family were looking so somber, and it was just like, why? Like, if the jury is deadlocked on the RICO, which is count number one, but in agreement on all of the other ones, who's to say? I mean, I feel like it could go either way. They're getting all our heroes. Y'all don't see it. You think they're getting? Hi, Butterbean. You think they're getting all of our heroes? I don't think so, Troy. I think that there are some prominent people who are definitely getting into trouble, but I wouldn't say that they're getting all of our heroes. I wouldn't say that. There are a lot of people who are out here who are not getting into trouble and stuff like that, right? I don't think they're getting everybody. I don't know if that's a fair thing to say. I don't feel. Wait, hold on a second. I don't feel like you'd be thinking about RICO if the others were off the table. This is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so look. Let me continue. So, all right. So they just talk about other times where they used racketeering. So it says, according to the U.S. Justice Department, to convict someone of racketeering, prosecutors must prove 5 different criteria. Okay, criminal enterprise existed. That's number 1. Number 2 is the enterprise affected interstate commerce. Number 3, the defendant was associated with or employed by the enterprise. Number 4 is that the defendant engaged in a pattern of racketeering activity. Okay, and the last one is the defendant participated in at least 2 acts of racketeering activity. All right. So I'm going to take my notes out. And this is about 5 hours ago. Combs whispers to his children and tells his mother, "I'll be all right. I love you." It says Sean Diddy Combs whispered to his 6 adult children seated in the second row behind him before leaving the courtroom. He also leaned over again to his mother, who asked him a few questions. He told her, "I'll be all right, and I love you. I love you." I'm going to tell you this. Mama Combs has been in the courtroom every single day. She's been in the courtroom every single day, and she's always, well, for the most part, she's pretty much the last one to leave every time. Always the last one to leave, honey. Listen, we don't know, what kind of upbringing he had, and we don't know anything, but it's just so crazy to see everything play out. Like, it's just crazy to see everything play out. It's just really sad as heck to see the way everything is playing out. Like, it's just sad. It's really sad. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? I've said this before and I'll say it again, like, it's very important, especially with your loved ones, okay, with people who you are close to, with your loved ones and stuff like that. When you see certain things and you see people who you love and care for acting, out of pocket and stuff like that, it's important to nip certain things in the bud. It's important to nip certain things in the bud. I really, really believe this, and I've said this before in multiple lives. I really believe that if, people kind of checked him years ago, he wouldn't be in the situation that he's in right now. Okay? We don't know how this is going to go. We don't know how it's going to go, but, anyway, Charles, let me just continue. So it says, as the defense and prosecution discussed their response to the jury's note saying that they've reached a verdict on 4 of the 5 counts against Sean Diddy Combs, the prosecution asked for an instruction called an Allen charge. The Allen charge, aka the dynamite charge, is given when a jury returns and reveals that they are deadlocked. The judge will encourage the jury to go back and continue deliberations and try to find unanimity to avoid a mistrial. In this case, it would only pertain to count one based on the juror's note. So this is something else I want to talk about. There's no mistrial, there's no nothing, because that first count is going to be separate than the rest. So if they can't get it together with the first, they'll go with the partial, with the 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's another part to like really, really be clear on. Okay, them not coming to a unanimous agreement on the RICO means nothing. They came to an agreement on 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that's enough. For whatever reason, both the defense and the prosecution both want them to come to an agreement on that first count. This does not require jurors to change their vote or reach a verdict. The defense said it was too early for an Allen charge and suggested more gentle language is used in response to the jury's note. The judge later addressed the defense and the prosecution, saying the government's proposal isn't really an Allen charge, but essentially reiterates the section of the jury instructions and regarding the duty to deliberate. When the jury eventually entered the courtroom, the judge did not issue the Allen charge. Instead, he instructed the jury to continue deliberating, saying, I received your note that you have reached verdicts on counts 2 to 5, but not on count 1, and I ask at this time that you keep deliberating. And the jury's going to return tomorrow to continue deliberating. And from what I understand, they don't have to, they can just go and start deliberating right away. Okay. So let me get my little piece of notes out. Okay. Let me get my little piece of notes out. And this is what I saw. Just kind of going over things, making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, let me tell you something, okay? So, like I said, I got up there late today, okay? Got up there late, and I was so upset because my intention was to get up there nice and early in the morning. Vicky said, wait a minute, I've been driving for 3 days straight. Is there a verdict, Auntie? What happened? Somebody catch me up. I'm trying right now. I'm catching you up right now. There's no verdict yet, okay? There's no verdict yet. Okay, no verdict yet. But the jury has come to an agreement on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, but they are still deadlocked on the first charge. Okay, so well, there is a verdict. I'm sorry, on 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes, there is a verdict, but not a verdict that we can all see. Okay. So it's split on that first one, okay? So my little notes here says that, Agnifilio wants the jury to keep deliberating. He doesn't want the Allen charge that I explained to you guys what that is, okay? When I tell you Diddy was looking so down, he looked so down. I was in the overflow room. I wasn't in the main courtroom today, but the overall feeling, you could look and see the general feeling in the main courtroom. And I was really trying to, I bet if it was their daughters, they wouldn't say free Diddy. This should have been state domestic DV. Okay. So, hi Tay. So you could look and see, he looked so like down and dejected. I remember I went and I said that there's a person who I like to talk. There's a couple of people who I like to talk to that be in the courtroom. Now, look, when you go to the courthouse, right? At this point, when the jurors are deliberating, you can kind of like go in and out of the courthouse. There are some people who legit like just stay inside of the courtroom, whether it be the regular room or the overflow room, because at any given time, the jury can hand the judge a note. And these people who just live up in the courtroom don't want to miss a thing. And I don't blame them. But for me personally, I kind of like to go outside and, mingle and talk and discuss certain things with other people who are there. But at the end of the day, to be honest with you, it is a good thing to sort of just stay in the courthouse because you never know what could happen. And today is a perfect example of that. I just so happened, like I said, I got up there late. I had to do food prep for a few people today. I had to do food prep. I'm notorious. I'm notorious. I'm notoriously, very bad at figuring out that it takes me a lot longer to cook than I think it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'll be able to get everybody's food prep done just in a few hours. Child, it took me so long. I didn't get up to the courthouse today until about 2:00. But again, it was fine. When I got there, I talked to some people, whatever, and I ended up going into the courthouse at about 4 something, just in time. The jury came, the 4-person came and handed the judge the note, and he said that we've reached a verdict. When he said we've reached a verdict, right? The whole entire courtroom said, everybody was like, oh my God, like my heart dropped. It dropped. I was like, oh my God. But then his next words were, we've reached the verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. I was just like, are you serious? I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, we were all so scared, like, oh my God, it was your verdict. But just on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, do we know what the jury decided on the other counts? No. All we know is that they've reached a verdict on those other counts. We don't know what it was that they decided. We don't know. Okay? They got paid to stay quiet and didn't want to talk. Okay? So that was the situation, okay? But everyone looked somber as hell. At one point, one of Diddy's lawyers went over to another lawyer and started kind of like rubbing their back, like, it's going to be okay. And I'm just like, why do y'all think that this is bad? Like, why do y'all think this is bad? Let me ask y'all a question in the chat. Okay? If they are deadlocked on count number 1, which is the racketeering, okay, the RICO. But the RICO is an acronym, right? I think that by now we all understand that that's an acronym, okay? If they are deadlocked on that, but they are settled on the rest, what do you think that means? If they felt they didn't do anything wrong, why did they ask for immunity? Well, this is the thing. Everybody did something wrong, because remember, at some point, everybody called, baby girl or Guido, trying to cop some substances. At some point, everybody has, not everybody, but there were a couple of people that called, Cowboys for Angels, honey, and, got the escorts and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? At some point, people, carried substances across the country, right? And stuff like that. So, I mean, they're all, complicit in some form or fashion. But, I mean, I think we all understand that they're going after the big fish. So they're going to, do what they have to do to get to the big fish. Because they know how the federal government works. He's going to get life. I don't know. Guilty. So listen, I just don't know. I just don't know. Because how can you be deadlocked, right? And again, this is the juror's words. People on both sides are just like, feeling the way that they're feeling, and they're just not going to budge on both sides. But they can still somehow unanimously agree on all 4 of the other ones. But I think there's a reason why the defense was looking very, very somber. Okay. The jurors, this is another note I made, that the jurors have unpersuadable. They are unpersuadable jurors on both sides. This is a quote from the judge. Unpersuadable jurors on both sides. I think the organization part is throwing them off. Remember this, with the first note that was sent, and they were saying that this guy, couldn't follow the instructions. So now, I've seen commentary where people are saying that it could be like not necessarily that he can't follow instructions, but maybe it was difficult for him to follow what was happening, type of situation. Not that he was like a rogue juror, like I'm just not gonna this, like no, like he has an accent. Okay, so it could have been thing. You said he's definitely going to walk free. I don't know. So this is the other part. Listen to this. Listen to me. Okay, Vicky. So Sean Combs, when I tell you he was staring at the jury today, he was staring. I've been there quite a bit, like in that overflow room. As you guys know, I was in that main courtroom one time, but I've been in the overflow room. You can see the direction where he's looking. Now, when you're in the overflow room, you cannot see the jury from the overflow room. You can see the jury from the main room, but not the overflow room. But even though you're in the overflow room, you still know that the jury is like here. You know where they're at. So when people are looking here, you know they're looking at the jury. And honey, it was giving Set It Off, Queen Latifah. Remember? Do you remember that scene when Queen Latifah was looking through that freaking two-way glass or whatever, and she had that lady's she had that lady's license plate in her freaking pocket, and she was still we were kind of like laughing in the courtroom, like a little group of us, like that's what it was giving, because he was like really intently looking at them, like he was looking at them, like looking, and you could tell he was making eye contact with like each and every one of them. Okay, he really, really was. Pull up the picture for an example. Which picture? Listen, I am on TikTok here. My ability to do things is just like not that great. Like I'm by the skin of my teeth managing this StreamYard situation here on my laptop in here, honey. Going forward, I definitely will be, get better or more adept at this situation. So from Set It Off, listen, did you ever see Set It Off? This is the scene where Queen Latifah, right? Because remember, Queen Latifah had the lady's license. She took the lady's license. She took the license and she took it, and the lady knew that she had it. So when it was time for the lady to identify, right? She had, and remember, I think if I'm not mistaken, she put it in her pocket to show the lady that she put it in this pocket right here. So when it was time for the lady to identify, okay, she went like this, and she was looking through the two-way mirror. Now look, when you're looking through a two-way mirror, clearly she couldn't see, but she knows that the woman is looking in her eyes. So she's looking at the mirror like this, like, I got your shit right here. And that's what it was giving. That's what it was giving. Okay, Desiree, good night. That's what it was giving. Okay, and we were just like kind of like gagging. Like, we were just gagging. Now, here's the thing. I'm making a joke about the situation, but he was absolutely 1000% looking at the jury. Okay, he was looking at them. He was looking at them. I'm not saying that he shouldn't make eye contact with them, but it was just, to me, just interesting that in that moment where we are at this juncture, that he was really making it a point to make eye contact with all of them. Like, this is what he was doing. I saw that with my own eyes. Okay. Saw that with my own eyes. So we can interpret that however, some people might think, hey, he's just trying to humanize himself. And you know what I mean? Some people might be like, hey, maybe he's thinking like, do y'all know who I am? You know what I mean? All I'm saying is that he absolutely was making eye contact with them. And it was just so weird to see in that particular moment. It's very tense. The whole scene, the whole move, the whole vibe, everything is super tense in that building and in that area. Okay, so I just wrote notes about keep deliberating, remember your instructions, your duties, so on and so forth. And at that point, they were waiting for the jury to come back with the note to say that, hey, we're going to deliberate and we're going to deliberate until tomorrow. We're going to deliberate tomorrow, so they'll be back at 9 o'clock. I'm going to be there tomorrow, and I'm not playing no games. I'm going to be there all day. If you're not following me, please follow me. I'm going to be there all day. My TikTok is Shanoa Can Cook, but I'm considering changing the name. I'm considering it. People have given me like a ton of suggestions as to what I should change it to, so we're gonna see. But as of right now, it's Shanoa Can Cook. Because initially that TikTok was supposed to be for like my my cooking stuff and all of that stuff like that. But I'm thinking about changing it. I have so many different social media sites dedicated to all kinds of different stuff. I need to streamline everything and get myself together, child. Isn't Diddy just really guilty of bad behavior, Austin Bridge? That's the question that you're asking. And the cooking stuff, cake. So I have some cooking stuff on this thing here, but the vast majority, I'm not gonna say the vast majority, but a lot of my stuff, I have an Instagram that's Shanoa Can Cook also. But I'm on regular Instagram it's called Beautiful Shanoa, and I post stories every day. And I'm also on Facebook where I post food content every single day because I cook every single day. Shanoa's Chat, that is a great name. Okay. I like the idea of that. Somebody else suggested Shanoa Speaks. Thank you so much, Cake. I appreciate. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, from the Victoria. Yes. What's up? BA in the house. BA in the house. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Cake. I appreciate it. Listen, I appreciate you following me. I really, really do. So yeah. So look, like I said, I'm definitely going to be there tomorrow. I'm going to be there all day. Okay. I'm going to be there all day. And we're going to see. I'm hoping that they come to a verdict tomorrow so I can be there in real time. Now, let me tell you something. I considered going up there tonight and staying there overnight like I did last week, because I did that on Thursday into Friday. I stayed at the courthouse overnight outside in the street, honey. They don't let you stay inside. So I could get into that main courtroom. What time, Kai? Is way too late for you to be awake right now. What is it now?
It's bedtime.
It is bedtime. You want to give me a kiss? You guys want to see my granddaughter? Come. Just say hi real quick, and then you got to go to. This is my granddaughter. She has a bonnet on. Say hi.
Hi.
Say good night. It's time for me to go to bed.
Good night. It's time for me to go to bed.
Okay. All right. Give me a kiss. All right. So she has a bonnet on because her auntie braided her hair. It's so beautiful underneath that bonnet, honey. So thank you. She's still so precious. Don't take it off. Leave that bonnet. I'll beat it bonnet on. You got to train them up, honey, when they're young. Leave that bonnet right on. You going to school tomorrow? Yeah. Well, summer. The summer camp tomorrow. That's where you're going tomorrow. Okay.
Summer camp.
Summer camp. Granny loves you. Close the door. Okay. Yes, you're going to summer camp tomorrow. Close the door. Close the door. You can have marshmallows tomorrow, not right now. Oh, okay. So, I lost my whole train of thought. But listen, we have strong genes. Thank you very much. We have strong genes in our family. On my mother's side of the family, child. Okay, she does. My baby. Listen, I love that little girl so much, and she loves me. So I forgot what I was going to say, but anyway, at any rate, I'll be there tomorrow. Okay, I'll be there tomorrow. Please follow me. I'm going to be there. Spending the night. Oh yeah. Listen, I was on the street. I had a blanket. I had a big blanket. Thank you. These Unk earrings. These are my daughter's. My daughter's earrings. So I borrowed them today. So yeah, I was on the street, honey, with a blanket. Yes, good thing I took off. Listen, and something told me to take off, and I wanted to take off tonight, but I couldn't get anybody to cover my classes, so I had to teach tonight, which was fine because I hadn't worked out like in a couple of days. So it's like, something, I need to just work out anyway. So yeah, I did my classes or whatever, but I'll be back there tomorrow. So yeah. Listen, the fold-up chair is cool, but this is the thing. Remember, when you go in the courthouse, you can't bring the fold-up chair in there. You can't bring anything in there like that. You can bring your bag. You can't even bring your phone. No electronic devices. You got to check that in. You understand what I'm saying? You got to check that in. So it's a limited amount of stuff that you could bring in. I wish I could bring a folding chair. I have those chairs in storage. I have a whole bunch of, oh, thank you so much, Joseph. I have that stuff in storage. Like, those chairs, like when you go to the beach that has a little cup in the thing. I have all that stuff. But I didn't want to bring that because I didn't want to run the risk of, not having my stuff. You know what I mean? So, well, James, I teach at Crunch, so you're more than welcome to come and teach. Not teach, take some of my classes. I teach out of a few gyms. I'm at Crunch. I'm at Harbor. So, but yeah, I had my blanket and stuff like that, and it was what it was. You know what I mean? It definitely was an experience. It was very challenging because it's very grimy out there with that line and stuff like that. People trying to get into the main courthouse. I've never seen anything like that ever in my life. People just doing real weird, grimy stuff to get into that main courtroom. Crazy stuff. Line sitters selling seats to more than one person. Do I teach how to cook? Because we be seeing your place. I know, right? No, not yet. But I think going forward, I'd probably make a couple of live videos teaching people how to make the stuff that like most people like, the stuffed salmon and, the crab boil stuff that things like, lots of oxtail stuff that's like super popular that people really like that I make. How does he look, Moro? You mean how does Diddy look? Diddy looks to me, and I've said this before, I do not know why people are saying that he looks so bad. He looks okay to me. He looks, healthier than we've seen. If you remember, Diddy was looking crazy because he was, taking substances, drinking, doing crazy stuff. He was looking crazy. What inspired me to cook? My mom. I used to watch her there in the kitchen. But I'm going to tell you something really quickly, okay? As far as cooking and stuff like that is concerned, I think that it's something that you kind of like have to want to do. I think it's something that's kind of like innate because from a real young age, I had a desire to do it. And I liked looking at people cook. I enjoyed being in the kitchen. And it's like the complete opposite of my child. My daughter does not. Diddy looks, yeah, he's clean. He looks clean. I'm going to get back to that in a second. My daughter does not want anything to do with cooking at all. Like she knows how to make like certain like basic staple things. Like she can bake maybe like some biscuits or something. Maybe she can make a steak for you, an omelet. Maybe she can do just like basic regular stuff. But she has zero interest in cooking. My granddaughter has expressed interest in cooking. She wants to help and stuff like that. But I think it's really something that you kind of want to do. You know what I mean? It's not something that you can force somebody to do. Like, don't get me wrong. I think that there are some people who learn to cook out of necessity from a young age because maybe, mommy and daddy or whatever aren't there, they're at work. And when they get home from school, they have to kind of like, look, child, you better learn how to cook or you're going to go hungry type of situation. But they never really wanted to do it. You know what I mean? Cooking is my peace. Okay. I'm going to tell you something right now. I can have a gazillion food orders or a gazillion things to prepare for people or whatever. It is never a chore for me. Never. I never feel like, oh God, I got to do this. Like it is something that I absolutely look forward to doing. I love to cook. I love to cook. Love to cook. I cook every single day. Every single day. You rather just plant flowers? I wish that I had a green thumb. That's something that I suck at. Okay, I have a couple of plants here that are unkillable, like a cactus and something else. Okay, but I wish I had a green thumb. I really, really wish I did. But I love to cook. I love it. Now somebody was asking me about Diddy's appearance. Look, he's clean from what I can see. This is the thing, there are some people who have said, oh, they can get him substances when he's in, behind bars and stuff like that. From what I have seen. And I'm not saying that it's outside the realm of, possibility for him to, acquire substances from behind bars. Of course, you're going to have like, COs and corrupt people who are going to like, say, hey, I'll take a couple of $100 for you to, to bring you, a pill or something like that. But from what I can see, he has been completely sober, coherent. He looks clean. And when I say clean, I don't mean showered. Like, he looks clean. You know, the only thing that you can tell is his face has a slight ashen look to it. And this is, to me, as a result of, you killed a cactus. How did you kill a cactus? Listen to me. How did you do that? So you could tell that he needs some sun. He needs vitamin D. Okay. There's a look that you have when you don't go outside. And people who work from home, people who are just inside all the time, they have like that kind of a look to them. And that's the look that he has. The other thing, oh, Mike said, you love to cook and we love to eat. Hello. Okay. So that's how he looks. But other than that, like, he looks relatively fit, as far as, he had put on a lot of weight. He looks like he's at a normal weight, and he's clear, coherent, and he just looks regular. But I could tell you that today he was there when this thing came down about the jurors being in agreement on 2, 3, 4, and 5. His body language was dejected. Like, he looked dejected. Like, he was sitting there and his head was literally down. Like, he was looking down. The family looked somber. It was giving funeral. Like, everybody looked so sad. And again, I was thinking to myself, like, I mean, it's just not a definite. You understand what I'm saying? But this is the thing. I was also thinking about the questions that the jurors were asking about the distribution and certain things and certain footage that they were in. I mean, not footage, but like testimony that they were looking at. And I think that maybe that might be a reason why. Oh, you said that's got to be on purpose. They give you vitamin D supplements in behind bars. I didn't know that they did that. I didn't know that they did that. I got to be there in the courtroom. Yes, I did. Not today. Friday, I was in the main courtroom. Vampire skin. I was in the main courtroom on Friday. I'm going to tell you something right now. The don't replace the son. Yeah, I think that I would imagine so. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, his poor mom. Listen. Are they still deliberating? Yes, they are deliberating still. They coming back Monday to deliver. They're still going to be deliberating tomorrow. They've gone home for the day. Hopefully you get to be there when they have the verdict. Listen, I want to be there in the main room, in the main courtroom. But here's the thing. If I really was going to be there in the main courtroom, right? Hey, Adrian, me too. Love food, love to cook because we're greedy. Yes, honey, we are very greedy. Okay. Listen, it's a good thing that I be working out, because I would have a problem, honey. The way I like to eat and stuff, I am very greedy. I'm not even going to hold you. So if I didn't teach and do the stuff that I was doing, it would be a serious issue for me, because I love to cook and I love to eat my own food. I like to eat other people's food too, honey. I like to eat everybody's food. But what's my favorite dish to cook? Lobster. Lobster is my favorite food in general. I could eat that every single day. One of my favorite things to eat is surf and turf. I love a good, delicious ribeye steak, medium or like medium rare-ish, with like a nice Cabernet, Mount Veeder to be specific. And listen to me. I love that. So that's my favorite thing to cook. Yeah. So my favorite thing to cook for me. My favorite thing to cook for other people is stuffed salmon, because that's what people really, really love. Like, they love that. I like to prepare oxtail for people because they always ask for that. They always go crazy over that. Stuff like lasagna, stuff like that. Stuff that's like really labor intensive. That's the stuff that people like really like to get from me. Do I wash my chicken before I prep and cook? Yes, I do. So I don't know if that's going to upset somebody, upset people or whatever, but I absolutely. What's a good exercise to help reduce the mommy patch? Something, what I would suggest for the stomach is sugar is what makes us heavy. Okay. So anytime you're trying to reduce, to like burn fat and stuff like that, I always suggest to reduce the sugar in your diet. And sugar does not necessarily only mean the obvious culprits, right? Like, donuts and candy and cookies and cakes and stuff like that. I mean, like, rice, breads, things of that nature, alcohol. Okay. That's another culprit. Sugar is what's making us fat. Sugar is what's making us fat. Okay. So, they say abs are made in the kitchen. That's the first thing that you should focus on. Now, as far as exercise is concerned, obviously cardiovascular exercise is super important, but high intensity interval training is something that is extremely effective. Okay, so you can sort of Google that, go on YouTube. There's a ton of ways that you can do high intensity interval training, but that is very, very effective. Something else that's very, very effective, I find as I get older, is intermittent fasting. Is extremely beneficial and helpful, especially as we get older. Men seem to benefit from intermittent fasting, a little bit less. Women, a minimum of a 16-hour window. Men can kind of benefit even at the 14-hour window. So all these things will help. Fasted cardio, fasted high intensity interval training. Okay, meaning that you don't intake any calories. You can have water, coffee, tea with no sugar, not even sugar substitute, because remember with sugar substitutes, your body, can sort of interpret it as sugar and, inadvertently kind of, spike your insulin a little bit. So that's something else that you can try. All those things will, help you. You know what I mean? All those things will definitely help you. What hours are good for intermittent fasting? So for women, I feel like a fasting window of a minimum of 16 hours is good. Okay. Why in the world would the Twin Girls be there? Especially, listen, Tamara, that was something that everybody was talking about, like, especially in the beginning with the golden shower situation. Them girls ended up leaving. They ended up leaving the courtroom because they were so disturbed. I'm assuming, right? They left the courtroom during that testimony. So, wait, hold on a second. Let me get my charger. I wasn't expecting to stay on as long. But my laptop is dying. My laptop is dying. So I'm gonna charge up my laptop. Sorry about that. I'm gonna charge up my laptop a little bit. I'm gonna charge up my laptop a little bit. So, but yeah, so the fasting window, right? Let me just tell you really, really quickly. The fasting window, right? I think it's charged. Yeah. The fasting window. Listen, let me tell you how to make it easy for yourself, okay? I'm gonna tell you the hours that I typically fast. Okay, now my cats are bothering me. Hazel, go sit over there. So the hours that I typically fast would be anywhere from around, maybe 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Okay. Remember, when you're sleeping, that counts too for the fast. Okay. So you can have your last thing to eat at 8, right? So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 11, 12. That's 16 hours. So from 8 at night to 12, that's a nice little chunk. That's a nice little 16-hour window that you can fast. Again, play it safe. There are certain energy drinks and things like that that don't have any calories in them. They don't have calories, but they have a sweetener. When you drink that sweetened drink, your body does have a reaction to it. It does, even though there's no calories in it. So I always tell people, play it safe. If you're going to do intermittent fasting, do it with water. You can do coffee with no sugar substitute, no nothing, no nothing. Just the black coffee, plain tea. Green tea is great. Okay, green tea is cute because it will, it has a little bit of caffeine in it as well. And it's, it acts as a little bit of a diuretic. So if you kind of puffy or whatever, bloated or whatever, you'll urinate, right? Something else that I drink every single day is apple cider vinegar. Every day in the morning, the first thing I put in my body is a couple of tablespoons of that with water. That's the first thing I ingest in the morning, no matter what. And the last thing I drink before bed, which I'm getting ready to go to bed now, I'm going to take some apple cider vinegar and water. And of course, throughout the day, I drink hella water, period. Your urine should be light yellow. Okay. That's the thing. I don't play around. I don't play games. We all are huge water drinkers in here. Um, so yeah, those are just some of the things that I do that help me. As of course, as I've gotten older and stuff like that, it's more challenging to stay slender. You understand what I'm saying? Even though I teach classes and I work out and stuff like that, you still got to do stuff. It gets harder and harder to stay a certain weight the older you get. So these are the things that help me personally. Okay. Um, so yeah, so if you're not following me here on TikTok, please follow me. I'm definitely, like I said, I'm definitely gonna be live tomorrow. I'm gonna be hanging out by the courthouse. I'll go live here and there. So I'll be back and forth from inside the courthouse to outside. I thought it was so interesting that the family was dressed the way they were dressed. Everybody was kind of like wearing black today. Even his friend, the guy Charlucci, who comes up there, yesterday he was wearing a full suit, black suit, because usually he wears like street clothes, like 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 jeans or whatever, and he usually has like the free puff shirt and the hat and stuff. But yesterday he had on like a suit, like a full, like a nice suit, and today he had on a suit today too. So I thought that was weird. I don't know what the family might have been expecting. I don't know, right? I don't know. So so yeah, his mom said she had on her lucky green. What's the first thing I take in the morning? The first thing I take in the morning is 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in a nice cold glass of water. Now, I also take collagen as well. The days that I'm fasting, I don't take the collagen powder because the collagen powder has calories in it, has about 70 calories per serving. So once you take in 1 calorie, you're not fasting anymore. You understand what I'm saying? This is why I said like, you gotta be super careful with that. Play it safe. No calories, 0 calories. You can drink club soda, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just don't take any calories. Um, Look, the intermittent fasting can be a bit of a challenge, when you're intentionally trying to fast. There have been, I'm sure, a million times that you didn't eat until 2 or 3 because you weren't really paying attention. But the fact that you can't eat until then it gets a little like, how am I going to do this? You know what I mean? So it is a little bit of a challenge. But once you do it a few times, you kind of get used to it. And like I said, the black coffee or like the green tea, the caffeine sort of acts as a bit of an appetite suppressant. I feel like the green tea kind of suppresses my appetite just a little bit more and gives me a little bit of a of a you said you're going to get some tomorrow. Yes, it gives me a little bit of a little bit of help because I'm greedy. I am very, very greedy. Okay, I am greedy, so I got to do stuff to kind of help me. Okay, I'll eat all day long. Yeah, listen to me. My friend Adrian is here on Facebook, and we just always be laughing, cracking up, like how greedy we are. Like, I love delicious treats, delicious food, like I really do. So, um, okay, phenomenal woman. Good night. So yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go. I want to be fresh. I want to get a good night's sleep. I didn't get a good night's sleep last night. I was on live till whatever time, maybe 12ish, 1, whatever. And then I got up literally at 6 to do this food prep for everybody. And I didn't get a good amount of sleep. So I want to get a good amount of sleep. Thank you, Angela. What do I break my fast with? It depends. Typically, I'll break my fast with like maybe some fruit or something like that. Nothing crazy. Um, and then I'll have a little something after. But I usually break my fast with something on the lighter side, and then I'll have something to eat a little bit later on. Listen, Zach, I didn't see your question, and I'm gonna tell you something right now. I love talking to people. Like, I want to answer people's questions. I'm definitely never intentionally ignoring anyone's question. It's just like sometimes I might look in a different direction and I missed your question, so it's not intentional. Any court reporting? Um, do you mean like if there are court reporters there, or if I'm gonna be there tomorrow? Um, there are definitely court reporters there. Well, I'll be there tomorrow for sure. I'm gonna be there in the morning. Um, I'll be there in the morning. So just in case we get some type of whatever, or just any tea or anything like that. Oh, anything that happened, any important happened today. Yes, a few important things happened today. The jury sent a few notes to the judge asking some specific questions, right? Barb Keller said guilty. So asking specific questions. One of the questions was about the incident that happened at the hotel. There was another incident that the jury asked about. So they had a couple of questions. And remember, it's not that your question is improper. I just didn't see your question. Okay. All right, Angela, good night. I didn't see your question. I really didn't. I'm not even joking. I really didn't see it. How often do I fast? About once or twice a week. At least at the very minimum, once a week. At the very minimum. But typically twice a week. So they asked that, right? And then they came to a verdict on counts 2 through 5, and they couldn't, come to an agreement on that first count. And the judge basically told them, look, get back in there and try again, Yes, Callie girl, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. If they get a verdict on count 1, will they read the verdict for sure tomorrow? Okay. No. If they come to an agreement on count 1 tomorrow, then 1,000% we're going to get everything tomorrow. Because remember, they're already decided on those other counts. They just working on that first one. Okay. So look, if you are not following me here on Facebook and also YouTube, follow me here. Please, you guys also follow me here, but follow me on my YouTube as well. I put it in my bio on TikTok. So you can just go to my page and hit the link. I put it there so people can just subscribe from there. I know he did a lot of wrong, but I feel so bad for the family. I couldn't be in that courtroom. I'm not going to lie. I do feel bad for the family. I do. I really, really do. See the people there like that. You got to just not have a heart to not feel bad for the family and them, just sitting there like that. You know what I mean? People do have to pay for the consequences of their actions, right? People do have to do that, but at the same time, it's still weird and sad to see it play out. You know what I mean? It's it's crazy, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So don't these jurors want to celebrate the 4th? Listen, they were supposed to not even have court on Thursday, but the judge said that they could have court on Thursday, right? The judge said that they could have court on Thursday if need be. So if they don't get the job done by tomorrow, the judge at 5 o'clock is going to let them know, hey, look, we're not really supposed to have court tomorrow, but we'll let you guys come in on Thursday. And if they can't get the job done by Thursday, obviously Friday is the 4th of July, so they definitely can't come in on Friday. But Thursday, he said that they would, because it was Thursday supposed to be no court on Thursday. But he said, look, I'll make an exception and let you guys come in on Thursday if y'all want to come in. But he hasn't told them that yet. Mark Agnifilo said, look, let them deliberate tomorrow. And if they don't come to a conclusion by 5 o'clock, then at 5 o'clock, you can let them know that we can come in on Thursday. Now, I definitely got to teach on Thursday morning, but my class is early, child. I will be right there back up at that courthouse as soon as my class is over. Curtis juror number 25 holding things up. I don't know. We don't know yet. We just don't know yet. Now, juror 25, he had some issues and stuff like that, but yes, and the people outside holler rude things to the fam. Yeah, they do. There's some weird people out there. Some weird, crazy people out there. You be cooking down. The food looks so delicious. Thank you. Girl, I listen. I love to cook. I love to cook. Love it. Love to cook. One of the things that I have been focusing on, one of my New Year's resolutions, was perfecting my pizza dough. I bought a pizza oven too because I'm not playing games. And that's another thing that I've kind of been working on here and there, perfecting. But yeah, listen, let me go. Let me get some good sleep. Why don't I have a restaurant? Listen, that's a great question. But I think he's done far worse than what he's been charged with, so he better be grateful. A lot of people have said that, honey. A lot of people have said that. So look, once again, if you're not following me here, follow me. What? Why would I feel bad for Diddy? Not necessarily Diddy, per se, but more like the family. To be quite honest with you, you know what I mean. More like the family. Even though he does look dejected and somber, but I feel more bad for the family. To be quite honest with you, I really, really do. Especially those girls, and watching, seeing them. I was there the day that the girl left and she was crying. I didn't see her crying because I had my phone just up or whatever. A lot of the time when I come out of the courtroom and I'm trying to like get a little bit of footage to put on my page or whatever, I don't even really get to see what's happening. I just have the phone up like that because it's a huge crowd, so I just put the phone up. But it wasn't until later on that I saw someone else's clips. Yes. I saw someone else's, commentary, and they posted a photo of her crying leaving court. No one should feel bad for Diddy. He did it to himself. He did. He did. It's fearing to share. He did so much bad stuff over the years. There's, again, and I said this before, and I'll say it again. You have loved ones that are out of pocket. You see people, people that you care for. They out here, being crazy from a young age or whatever. Check your people. Check your people. Check your people. You know what I'm saying? So, but look, guys, I definitely have to go. I got to go to sleep. Follow me here if you're not following me. And the Saturday nachos. Listen, okay, so really quickly with the nachos, right? The cheese sauce. Like, I don't know how you guys make cheese sauce, but somebody put me on to sodium citrate like a couple of years back, and that's how that cheese sauce, I make that cheese sauce. Okay. And I love the fact that you can just grate your cheese, do the milk, and add the sodium citrate, and that's it. Like, it literally turns it into cheese sauce, honey. And that's what makes that cheese sauce look so good there in them photos you're looking at. Okay. Something is mentally wrong with Diddy. I do believe, yes, honey. Yes, I'm telling you. So yeah, I do believe that he definitely experienced some sort of trauma as a young child. I mean, as a child, I do believe he definitely experienced some type of trauma. Mike said, I bet you he wants some vitamin D. I'm not messing with you, Mike. I'm not. I'm not. And ironically, here's the thing, right? There's nothing, you can be as freaky as you want to be. You understand what I'm saying? But, everything else that goes along with it, with everything else, is just like, bro, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, child, I heard that Phenomenal Woman. I have heard that. I've heard that. I have heard that. No, he wasn't found guilty, Marie. He wasn't found guilty. There's several charges. The jury has decided that they do agree on some, but not all. So, they're deliberating still. Tomorrow morning, they're going to come back and deliberate. They stopped at 5. So they're going to come back tomorrow, and they're going to continue to deliberate. And we're hoping to get a verdict by tomorrow. We're hoping. We'll see. He said he too extra. Do I think he'll get life? I don't. No, I don't. Because they can't agree on that first count. So I don't think he'll get life. But if he's found guilty on those other charges, he'll get a substantial amount of time. But technically not life. But would it be considered a life sentence for him because he's an older gentleman? Then, I mean, I guess you could, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if he got 15 years, he's 55, right? So that means he will get out at 70. So yeah. Listen, I gotta go to sleep. Plus I heard he had a daughter with his mother. Oh my God. Listen, 25 years on the other charges. Did he actually give up any real names, or was that rumors? That was rumors. The only thing that you could sort of say that a name was given was there was no actual name given, but it was implied that, okay, they referenced a very popular rapper in the case. And this was because Jane flew to Vegas on a private jet, on this famous rapper's private jet, and they attended a party with the famous rapper and his wife. And at the after party at the hotel, right? At the after party at the hotel, honey, when Jane went there into the hotel room and everybody, you know, was there, one of the people who were at her FOs, at the FOs with her and Diddy, was there and having relations with somebody in front of everybody. So, you know, it's implied that this person is Ye. I'm just gonna say it, Ye. Okay, this is, you know, I didn't see Tamara. I was there that day that he was there, but he was supposed to come into our overflow room because initially he wanted to go into the regular courtroom, and they were like, no, okay, like you're not on the list. You don't get to just come in. So he was going to come in our overflow room, and Nicole Westmoreland and the guy Xavier, they both came because every time that door opens in the overflow room, everybody turns around and look to see who's there, child. So we saw her and the Xavier, two of his lawyers, and we were like, what are they doing here? And then I said, oh wait, it must be like a big celebrity coming, because why are they coming to size up the room and see what's going on? And then the court marshals and the people, they were all kind of coming, and they told one guy to get up out of his seat because he was in the back row. They told him to get out of his seat. He's gonna have to get out of his seat because I guess if Ye was gonna come into the room, he would have had to, obviously he has security, right? So they would have all had to sit there in the row. So he never ended up coming into our overflow room. He actually ended up going into another overflow room that's down the hall, and he stayed there for I don't know, about 10 20 minutes or something like that, from what I understand. And then that was the end of that. He left because I guess he didn't get the he didn't get what he was looking for. Allie Carter. Who's Allie Carter? That name doesn't ring a bell. I don't think that person testified, because that name doesn't ring a bell to me. So yeah, listen, I gotta go to bed now. So I will definitely see you guys tomorrow. Hope you guys are around. I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna be at the courthouse tomorrow, and I'll be going live on and off, and then I'll be back here tomorrow evening. More likely than not, with a verdict. I feel like we're gonna get a verdict tomorrow. But let me just stop talking, because listen, if there's one thing I can do is talk. Okay, so we're gonna end it here. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jada. But look, this is the thing. One more thing. I'm live on these platforms here on YouTube and also Facebook. Sometimes I might cut up the video and post it here to TikTok, but the videos are always on my Facebook and my YouTube. So my YouTube link is there on my page on TikTok. So you can catch all them videos that I did or whatever. They're still there they're there on the YouTube. They're there on YouTube. Like I said, sometimes I'll cut it up because you can only post videos that are an hour long on TikTok. So I have to cut it in half or whatever and put it over here on TikTok. But my stuff is there on YouTube. So follow me there. My YouTube is very, very pathetic, honey. There's I don't even think I have 200 people up there, which is just a disgrace. So I definitely need some help over there. So if you could find it in your heart for just 65 cents a day. No, if you could just find it in your heart to follow me over there, I would really appreciate it, because I ain't too proud to beg. I really am not. I don't care. I know people be up here like, well, follow me if you want. No, please follow me. Okay. I appreciate every comment, every like, every heart, every flower, I appreciate it all. So thank you so much for all your input. I appreciate talking to you guys, and I enjoy myself over here. And I will see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Talk to you later. All right. Thank you guys over here. Thank you guys over here. I'm going to end the stream now, and it'll be up on Facebook. You know, Facebook deletes these streams after 30 days, but this is also going to be on my YouTube as well. So follow me over there too. Okay. See you later.